Hello, everybody. This is Ken Faulkner once again with another knife video. Bunch of knives on the table, and I think this is going to be a fun one. I think it'll be interesting, but I never know. I feel like I've been pretty lucky so far. People seem to be interested in some of these crazy ideas that I come up with. This one is something I think that a lot of us are really thinking about and sensitive to right now, and it has to do with the price of knives and where it's going to go from here. So I don't know. I can't say. It really seems like things are going to go up, and the question is, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to respond to it? This is not any kind of a political video. This is not anything real scientific. I'll explain what I did. I'm kind of trying to do like a little cost analysis thing. I do this kind of stuff at work sometimes. It's not my main job, but once in a while we got to look at, hey, if I use this material versus this material, what is the difference in cost? Do we need to charge more for what we're producing as products? I mean, I'm with a company that makes products and sells them. They're a little bit more customized, and they're large scale, millions of dollars type thing. So, and the funny thing is that those that come about, oh well, this thing we lost $800,000. This, oh, that's no big deal. It's crazy to me, or like 500,000 or something like that, that they would look at a large number like that. But this is a big company, and we've gone corporate, so we got like stockholders are looking for all that money. So anyway, that's beside the point. We're talking about knives. There's this whole thing, especially with the tariffs coming up. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that there's going to be tariffs. I don't know if anybody really knows how bad they're going to be, or how much of an effect it's going to have. You listen to one side, somebody's going to say that it's going to be horrible, another side's going to say it's going to be fabulous. I'm not here to talk about that either. I'm not here to argue that point. We're just going to go over numbers. That's what the kind of thing that I'm doing here. It's kind of like an analysis. I got my spreadsheet, perfect for this kind of thing, analysis. I went and took a sample of my knives. So let me explain what I did, and explain to you that this may not be 100% accurate. I think it's just kind of a general idea of what's going on. So I went through my list, and I went into 3 different categories. I went to sub 100 down here on the bottom. These are from 100 to 200 ish. Obviously something's going to be right at that border. I don't know if anything is really on the border. Nope, doesn't look like it. So yeah, so it's a under 100, 100 to 200, and 200 to 300. And I was watching Casey, one of Casey's videos. The long forms, that long forms are what I do, but a lot of people talk about that the long forms don't get many views nowadays, and Casey is always trying to push us to watch his long form, so I try to do that. And it's one of those ones where he's putting out all these knives that he just got in this week, and I'm looking at some of the ones he got in, and he's really good about giving the prices. And the thing is, I'm looking at it going, wow, this seems to be more expensive than I expected. It's not based on any science. It's just my feeling, my emotional, like, wow, that I really would have thought that some of these would have been less expensive. But, everybody has their ideas of how much a knife is worth. And, the reality is what people are going to charge you for it. So what I did is I said, well, I got my spreadsheet, and I put all these numbers in, these dollar values in. At one point, I went and did it. And then after that, as I was putting in new ones, I just put it in as they go. So I try to select ones that are, for one thing, common. Not all of these are common, but I tried to make them something that is somewhat recognizable, as best I could, that are available. So certain brands that drop knives and they sell out, and then you can't get them again except on the secondary market, aren't going to be here. So, speaking of KC, Tempest Knives, in general, they sell out relatively quick, and then he moves on. And so the price is not going to be there for the current. So what I'm looking at is the price that I put on my spreadsheet, whenever it was, and I tried to get things that were at least back in 2004. Some of them are going to be older than that, obviously, but when I looked up the prices, it's going to be somewhere in the 2004 area. 2004? No, 2024. Sorry, told you it's not scientific. Uh, so yeah, just kind of an interesting little thing, and there could be all kinds of factors as to whether things went up or went down or whatever. But I just thought it'd be interesting. So then I looked today. My main source for pricing is Blade HQ, because I think it's kind of a general overall. They kind of have a lot of stuff, and it's a good source of information for kind of measuring the temperature. And that's what I did when I did my original price thing. Is Blade HQ? I leaned heavily on them because they do tend to have things more available than some other ones. Maybe Knife Center could or whatever, but that's the one I chose. I'm more familiar with them. And then some of them I had to go into Amazon, so I kind of marked when I went into Amazon. I think one of these guys, the Aurora Rays, I did have to go to their website because I didn't find it on other websites. I think that's the only place it's sold. And when I got up to the $300, $300 range, it was a little bit harder to find ones that are like in stock. So I tried to find them in stock, but some of them might not be. They might be, out of stock. Contact me, that kind of thing. It seems like that's what happens as you buy knives in that upper range. They tend to move into the not available. Maybe check in later, or we'll contact you when we're going to get it. That kind of thing. So I tried to explain that as best I could, and it's kind of interesting findings for me. Because I'm seeing that, as we might expect, and I kind of expected, that most things have gone up. There are a couple here on the table that stayed the same, which kind of surprised me. And maybe even more surprising is some of them went down. Now, like I said, factors. This is Memorial Day weekend. I didn't necessarily see a whole lot of things, necessarily on a special sale. Usually you go on Blade HQ, they showed you the MSRP that the brand is going to sell it to you for, and theirs, and it's usually a markdown anyway. So I don't know if any of these. I mean, it took some time to do all this stuff, and I didn't really research. I could have gone and say, "Oh, what's the cheapest I can get every knife?" And that would take forever. This took long enough. So anyway, that's all the explanation. So let's go start looking at the knives. I tried to get a mix. I got some slip joints, not many. In fact, as I'm looking at the table, this is really the only slip joint here, but it is a case. I tried to get a mixture of USA made versus Chinese, and then grab some Taiwan and then some other countries, because obviously tariffs are going to affect other countries. And the theory is that the USA made stuff is not going to be affected. I kind of feel like as prices go up in general, that the likelihood that USA made companies are going to go up in price as well is probably likely, because they'll see that they can sell it for more, because relatively speaking, everything costs more, and USA has a certain desirability for certain people. This one is the first one we're going to talk about. And this one did go up, I think. Let me see. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this one actually stayed the same. So this one was $34.99 when I originally put the price on it, and this one did stay $34.99, exactly the same. Only 2 in the whole group that did that. So I'm not saying that's an indicator of specifically anything, but I took also. Company in Russia, because I don't have a lot of things other than majority of the stuff is either USA, China, or Taiwan for the most part. So I got a few other ones. So Dagger is a Russian company, and so the Dagger, that one did go up. It used to be $72 when I first put the price in there. Now $76. I don't know. I mean, in this price range, that's not a huge markup, but it is. It is a markup. So, I don't know, a lot of this stuff, I didn't really see a huge jump, but there is this creep, this price creep. And it is going to affect things over time. This even a little bit added on to everything that you buy is going to affect that how much money you have to spend. And then this question, does that mean that you buy less knives? Have you thought about that? I've thought about it. I might have to buy less knives. Do you go further in debt? It's just like, I'm already in debt anyway. Might as well buy more knives and just, roll with it. That's not really an option for me. I'm not really interested in doing that. So less knives might be what it is, or I might spend more money on knives than I do on other things. I might cut back on other things if knives are my priority. I'm not really sure. And then again, like I say, it's not scientific, so all this stuff might be temporary. It may end up going one way or another. But assuming that prices are going to continue going up, and that it tends to be what happens. I mean, if you look back 5 years ago to now, definitely prices are up. Buck 110, classic, American made. It's just a classic knife, right? Pretty common. This one's pretty scuffed up over time. I think it's maybe from being in it. I don't know. But that's what this knife is for, right? It's a hard use knife. It's something that, you should see some stuff. I mean, I think you can send this stuff back to Buck and they'll buff that out and make it all pretty again. I'm not really that interested in doing that. But let's look at the Buck 110. What it is doing? The price has actually gone down. So actually, there's the least number of changes, I guess, are the ones that are the same. There are maybe a third of them that have gone down, maybe a little bit less, maybe a quarter of them that have gone down, and the rest have gone up. But this one used to be $74.99. Now I'm seeing it as $64.99. So I don't know what the reason for that is. It's just kind of an interesting little factoid. Take it with a grain of salt and for what it's worth. But I am seeing it in multiple cases that certain things are going down while other things are going up. So it's not, it's not just a one-off. I had to get my whole keychain here, the key bar. This thing is really cool. I love this. My little flashlights and tools and things like that. I've shown these before, but I wanted to throw in the little SD, because that's like from who's it from? Switzerland, So you can see this thing is old. I've had this one forever. I mean, it's just worn, but I love it. I love the fact that it's worn. It may be the oldest one on this table as far as when I bought it. Probably is. So the price on the Victorinox Classic SD went down also. $21.69 is what I had on the list, and $19.99 is what I have on Amazon. That one I had to go to Amazon for because the only ones that had Blade HQ were the A-lock style, so they weren't apples and apples. Those were more expensive, but I think they're a little nicer little knife. So try to keep it apples to apples as much as I could. Okay, so yeah, there's another one that went down. So yeah, very interesting, I think. You guys let me know if I jump the shark, if I keep coming up with these ideas, and if I get to the point where I'm just getting too far out there and it's really not something you're interested in, please be nice about it. You don't have to tell me I'm stupid. You can say, I'm just not really, this didn't really interest me at all. But I think this is something on everybody's mind. Elementum, is a classic knife. Just about everybody knows about it. Probably everybody watching my channel knows about the Elementum. This is blacked out with the wood, Caborsha wood. And what do we see on the price on that guy? So it is from Civivi. And gotta check this spreadsheet, make sure I get this right. So price I had before was $63.75, and now it's $75. So that's a pretty, $10, $12 increase. That's pretty reasonable jump. I mean, we saw with the dagger just a $4, $12 is a little bit more, especially in this price range, a little bit more of a thing. And then now we're talking about knives from China, so that's another possible thing that can be a trend. I guess I'll kind of go do an overview at the end, grouping all the ones from China and how they did compared to USA, that kind of thing, and compared to everywhere else. I guess it's kind of like that all the joke they used to say. They'll tell you about some crazy thing that happened, and they'll say, "Did it happen in Florida or did it happen anywhere else in the country?" I always thought that was pretty funny. If you haven't heard about that, just ignore me. Pyrite. This is the Pyrite. I don't know that I paid extra for the pink. That might be a premium, but I didn't actually get an apples to apples with the pink one on here. But the basic one that I show here was $49.95, and it went up to. It didn't go up. It was the same, $49.95. Wow, same. I had that marked the wrong color. Trying to color code these things so I will notice it, but that one did stay the same. So this one is a Chinese knife, and it stayed the same. So there you go, CJRB Pyrite. This is a basic one. Obviously, there's all different types, and I just don't have enough time to really go across the board. Formax Scout, another classic. This is a Taiwan made, yes, and it is a big monster, and I think it's a great knife. Certainly not just your regular EDC thing. When you're opening up little packages and stuff like that, you don't need this much knife. You can do it with this knife, but you don't need it this much. So cold steel, $79.95 originally on my spreadsheet, $86.95. So a little less than $10. About $7 $7 difference in price. And Taiwan. So you got a little bit of the Taiwan versus the China thing. Now we're gonna kind of move these guys out of the way, and we'll get into the next group so we can see everything. All right. So now we're getting into 100 to 200 in this row here, and I got a fixed blade. So like I say, I'm trying to mix it up, even though the majority of my knives are folders, modern folders. It is what it is. So it is, and it's pretty obvious by looking at this one. Let's go in order for my spreadsheet just to make it easier on me. We will look at the Concept Finner. This one was $178 when I put it down originally, and now $169. So we got a reduction in price. We got about $9 reduction in price, which is pretty darn cool. Always like to see that. I can't guarantee that is the trend in general, but next one on the list is a Tidius, however you want to pronounce it. Very cool knife, premium materials, and it's always been good price. $125 is what I had when I originally bought it and put that down. $100 is what I see it at right now. $100. That's $25 off, guys. $25 off. I thought that was an amazing deal at $125 for the titanium with the micro milling. The steel on is 14C28, which is not bad, especially when you got a lot of steel like this. It's a big knife. $100, guys, and that's at Blade HQ. I'm pretty sure that was in stock. They got multiple colors and everything, so that's not bad at all. There is some good news here, right? And again, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if things are where it's gonna go from here. I would think by now we might be starting to see it, but this might be pre-tariff prices too. It is what it is. I don't have that crystal ball. Spyderco Endura lightweight, Endura 4 lightweight. So this is a Japan-made knife. You can see it's VG10, which is very common with the Japan-made knives. I saw this one at $130 originally, $102.38 right now. Again, that's like 27 and change less in price. I don't know for a fact that it's not, just a sale thing, but I mean, it is what it is, as I explained. So you could actually, I wouldn't take this as gospel, and you can kind of take it as you can kind of see a trend, but you know, I'm trying to make it clear that I'm not 100% sure that there's not some sales going on because Memorial Day weekend, for one thing. And I wish I was buying knives right now, because all these weekends we have sales, I love to jump on those, but blade show. Okay, so SOG Kiko, a little less. I didn't really know about it until I was like searching around at SOGs and seeing what there is. This one was an interesting one. This is one of the biggest jumps in price. I can't explain it. Does have CTS XHP steel. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. It also is Taiwan made. Was $139.11 when I first put the price down. Now it's $198.29, and I had to go to Amazon for that because they did have it on Blade HQ, but it was over $200. It was insane. So I'm going, I think I better get a competitive bid on that one. And this one was $198 on Amazon, $198.29. So that's a big jump. That's like 60, almost $60. Huge jump upwards. So, of course, when you're looking at stuff like this, you usually throw out the worst case and the best case to get your averages, because there's always going to be some outliers. And this is definitely an outlier, and it shocked me, really. Bradford Guardian, right here. So, it was... Oh, wow. That's interesting. I wonder if maybe I should look this up real quick. Sorry, guys. I marked it as an increase, but it went down. Bradford. So I'm double checking myself here. Guardian. Bradford Guardian. That does not look like a Bradford Guardian. Bradford Guardian. All right, let's see. All right, this is the category. I want to try to get the same materials here. That's the one. $150. Wow, $150. So back to the spreadsheet. Some of these I marked. There's more actually that are going down than I thought. So I originally had it at $189, and right now $150 on Blade HQ. So that's $39 down. Interesting. And the going downs are getting closer to the going ups. We'll see what happens. All right. Sorry. Artisan Cutlery, the Valor. Cool knife. We're talking about S35VN and titanium. As we're getting up in price, this one was $199 before. It went up by a whole... No, it did not go up. It is the same. Wow. Yeah, if I was the type to redo videos, I would definitely redo this one. So that one stayed exactly the same price. 109. Oh no, I'm sorry. It did. This is the one I thought was funny. $190 originally, went up to $199.99. So 99 cents more due to tariffs, and I don't know what it's due to. Inflation, tariffs, whatever. The day of the week, I don't know. But 99 cents more, guys. I don't know. I think I can handle that price increase. All right, so we'll mark that back to a price increase mode. Let's see. All right, back at it. Try to make this not too crazy long. 8015. We know about the 8015, right? It's got that scorpion lock. And so it does always, every time I pick this one up, if I haven't carried it for a while, it takes me a little while to kind of get used to it. But, you know, and it definitely breaks in over time. It's just different. I like different knives. When you grip it, you hold it closed. It's not going to unlock. Makes it stronger the tighter you hold on to the grip. 80.15. Where did it go from where it was? 152.95 was what I had. Right now I'm seeing 189.95. So that's $35 increase. So that is kind of what I was expecting to see, but it's not as common as I thought it would be. All right, hey, this is the one everybody likes to complain about. Benchmade. I had to throw a couple Benchmades in here. I only have a couple Benchmades, so yeah, we had to find out. The bug out used to be, and this is USA made, 162. Now 190. So we're talking about $28 increase. $28. Now, as we get up in price range, you know, obviously it's like a percentage increase. So, you know, the larger amounts are less of an impact theoretically. I mean, it is dollars, exactly dollars. But if you're shopping in a higher cost bracket, you probably don't notice it as much. If you're shopping budget all the time, every little bit, you know, makes a difference. But decent increase on that one. $28 for the bug out, which a lot of people already think is overpriced. And I am not taking into account like aftermarket scales or anything like that. So just so you know, I'm just talking about the budget one with the FRN handles. Manix 2. Manix 2. Let's see. Got the ball bearing lock on this guy. CPM 30 CV. So a little Premier Steel, USA made as well, just like the bug out. Was 151.20, so it's about $11-ish less than the bug out. And now 162, so we went up $11. So where the bug out went up 28, this one went up 11. So from when I originally priced it to now. Pretty cool. I mean, it'd be better if they were all going down, right? I would like it if they just started giving out free knives. You know, just because you're a nice person, you get all free knives. How does that sound? Now, when I do giveaways, that's the way that works. But you know, at least free to you. All right, let's move on. I am just, these long ones tend to bring out the less than funny jokes. All right, we're in the $200 to $300 range. We'll try to blow through this pretty quick. I think you're kind of seeing a theme. An interesting breakdown, I guess. The lower price ones, just a little breakdown, had 3 that went down in price and 3 that went up in price and 1 that stayed the same. So this is the budget. That's under $100. That's what I call budget. They all, you know, it evened out, right? 3 went down, 3 went up, and nothing really, no huge jumps, and 1 stayed the same. So that's kind of interesting. The medium price ones, which is the $100 to $200 range, we had 4 that went down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 that went up. Now, a couple of those ones that went up were pretty significant increases. 1 was a pretty significant decrease, that Guardian. So yeah, it's about half and half. I mean, really, I'm surprised. I would think. I mean, I would say that the difference in time is somewhere around a year time, but still, the way things have been going, I would think things have gone up. But like I say, it may be that the tariffs really haven't impacted yet. I don't want to get anybody thinking, oh, no need to worry. We'll just keep buying knives at the full pace. I was really worried about buying knives at Blade Show and thinking, am I going to be able to, my budget is the same as it was last year. Am I going to be able to get as many knives as I was? Now, when we're into this $200, $300 range, it's more in one direction, for sure. Only one of them went down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 went up, and one stayed the same. So it seems that as the price goes up, the way the pricing is going is slowly upward more and more. So the higher end ones seem to be more impacted. Just based on what this data analysis that I did, that seems to be the way it is. The one that went down was the Remet Peregrine Falcon, RT Peregrine Falcon. Although I'm pretty sure I think this one was in stock, because I know they did sell out, but I think they brought some back. Regardless of that, it went down $10 from $255 to $245. So that's, you can't complain about that. And then the one that stayed the same was the Telson from Katua Knives. Like this one. I guess I should have broke this guy out too. This is the one with a pivot button lock, so it's very fidgety. Kind of cool. The Telson here. The Telson. Let's get that highlighted. Where are you, Telson? Here you are. This one stayed the same, $285 and $285. This is the cool one with the what's the name of that material? Oh, I got it on here. Zirconium on the handle, which I thought was really cool. So maybe the price of zirconium isn't going up. I don't know. But that one stayed the same. So when went down, stayed the same. That's pretty good so far. But now we're turning the other direction. So we got the Spyderco Caribbean. This is the one with the LC 200N steel. It's one of those Salt Series ones, I believe. I like this. I really like this knife, but it did go up in price. $206.85, now $244. So $28 about 28, 25, 27, $28 price increase. But for a $200 knife, maybe that doesn't feel as so bad. I don't know. You tell me. It's going to be interesting to see what the responses are to this. I'm hoping that we don't get into any kind of political stuff. We don't tend to do that in my comments, just because people are pretty chill, pretty relaxed. I showed this one recently. So this is the RS Chaos, and the price went from $249 to $269. So $20 increase. Titanium. The blade steel is M390. Top liner lock. Very cool knife, but it seems to be going up from China. Benchmade again. Here we go. Let's see what Benchmade did for us this time. This is that classic one, the 940 Osborne. Well, I had it at 216 before. Now I got it at 240. 240 makes that a $24 jump. $24 for a classic. That's why I got it, really. I mean, the Bug Out classic, the 940 classic. I probably will get another Benchmade sometime. I'm not super anti, but it makes it a little bit harder when the prices seem to be a little bit inflated. So, just in general, for the materials and things like that, because we were talking about S30V, we're talking aluminum handles, USA made, in this price point. So, but it is Benchmade. So that is what it is. We've got two more here. Aurora Rays. This is the one that seems to be only, sold on its website. Maybe, I don't know if anybody else is selling them. Sometimes White Mountain Knives seems to have some of these. I didn't look at White Mountain Knives, but Farrah Monster. Aurora Rays. Price went from $235 to $248, so $13. It's not too bad. It's really a nice knife. I thought it was a pretty good price, really. We got M390 and titanium, so you got a little bit more premium materials here. Made in China, though. Great action. It's just a really nice knife, really well made. I think it's designed over here. I think that they are a USA company, and I thought it was a USA made knife, but then I got some recent information, and if you guys know anything different, let me know, but I think that these are being made in China. It doesn't say anywhere. It was kind of hard to see anything that showed it on the website, but I think somebody recently mentioned it on one of the YouTube channels. And last, we got We Knives. Very popular brand. I only have one. And it's always been priced for me. And the style just wasn't really, for the price range, just the style wasn't really mine. I got this one used, so I didn't pay full price, but it is a really nice one. I mean, they are really good knives, definitely good knives, but at the price, it tends to throw me off. So if I can get a discount on one, I'm jumping on it, just like I did with this one. Now, all my prices are new price, not what I paid. Especially if I get a used one, I get a good sweet deal. I still put the whatever price I saw at the time. So it started at $292.75 originally, and now it's up to $329. That's like a $50 jump, guys. Is it? No, it's not. 30, 40, maybe a $40 jump. Okay, so I was getting a little too crazy. $40 jump. I know a lot of people love these knives, and they're willing to pay for them, just like the Benchmades. I mean, some of these companies, the thing is that they're going to set their prices on what they can move, the amount that they want to move. And if people keep buying them, why would they reduce the price? And if they increase the price and people keep buying them, why would they do anything different? If we, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying to boycott anybody, but if we, just because the prices are going up, end up buying less knives, that's potentially going to affect the companies to the point where they may say, well, we maybe we'll take less margin. I think the smaller brands, the ones that are making their own knives, especially USA made knives, you hear a lot that people just can't make a lot of money on making knives. So those small batch type stuff may not change. I don't know about the OEMing that goes on with a lot of the knife designers in the U.S. I tend to support USA designed knives, like especially people I know in the community that are OEM'd over in China. And I see the reason why they have to do it, because they would love to. A lot of them would really like to keep their prices down, but they have to do what they have to do to make it worth doing. A lot of them have full-time jobs otherwise. KC is a good example. He's got a full-time job. That guy's working all the time, and yet he puts out all those lives, shorts, and all this other stuff. He's amazing. So, yeah, at the end of this, I think prices are going up. Whether it's inflation or tariffs, I really can't say. And what will affect the prices going forward? Potentially, tariffs and any inflation changes. Also, how well things sell. If things aren't selling as well, they may have to come down and get more competitive. That's just the way things are. So the unfortunate thing for that is some of us may not be able to get as many knives as we used to, or we may not be able to eat, lunch because we bought a knife. We may not be able to, do this or that we would normally do because we felt like we needed to buy a knife. Or we may go further in debt on our credit cards, or Sezzle, or any of that other stuff. I've never done the Sezzle thing, but I think it's the same thing, right? You're paying over time, so it makes it feel like it's less money, but it's the same amount of money. and they hit you up. So if you're settling this month and then you're settling next month, they start adding up, and you end up, the credit card bill goes up just as fast. You may get more knives because of it, but it's all about perception, as far as I could tell. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, guys, that's enough. I mean, I've talked a lot. 40 minutes? Oh my gosh. It went by fast. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, sorry if it's long. I'm sorry to my voice because it's starting to go. And if you thought this was interesting, I'm glad, because I was hoping that this would be something interesting. It's not the outcome that I was expecting, but I kind of like the fact that, there is some outcome there, and you can, consider it moving forward for what it's worth. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to finish up the Faulkner 5, going into the last week, talk about, the fourth knife, and moving into the Faulkner 5 fifth knife. That's exciting because Blade Show is right around the corner. And then things change back. I'm going to be buying more knives. We'll see how many, if there's a reduction or not. But so far, it doesn't look too bad. Keep my fingers crossed. All right, you guys, you have a good one, and I will see you on the next one.